All right, look, man, let's get right down to the business. You read the title. NoFap makes no sense. Yes, sir. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Listen up, my guy. The whole concept, the whole fad, the whole trend of NoFap makes absolutely no fucking sense. And you might be wondering, okay, man, you talk about semen retention. You talk about celibacy. I've seen you on this channel drop videos about these topics, and now you're telling me NoFap makes no fucking sense. Well, make that make sense. Well, relax. Relax. Relax, my guy. I'm gonna need you to just take a deep breath. Come on, do it with me. Because it's time for your boy to break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. So first things first, what you must come to understand along this journey of developing yourself to the highest potential on the mental, physical, and spiritual realms of reality by using these practices of self-mastery, which NoFap is trying to masquerade as, is that this journey, this whole path, this whole process is not about quitting any addiction. It's not about overcoming any of your bad habits. That's what NoFap is. And that's why it makes no sense. NoFap is about getting rid of addictions, overcoming bad habits. And that's not a bad thing. But it makes no sense in the grand scheme of things. Because what happens when you practice NoFap is that not only do you make your NoFap streak your new religion, but also you just turn one addiction and replace it with another. What do I mean by that? You see, NoFap, the whole premise of this, the whole trend that came out, I don't know when. You've heard about it before. I've heard about it before. Let's keep it a buck. You know what I'm talking about. NoFap. That whole idea revolves around abstaining from pornography, abstaining from masturbation, abstaining from ejaculation. That is one of the most dangerous fucking things you can do as a man. I want you to realize that. Let that marinate in your motherfucking mind. Let that sink into your psyche, my guy. Abstaining, repressing, and suppressing your sexual energy by not watching porn, by not masturbating, and not ejaculating is one of the most dangerous things you can do as a man. The reason is that this energy that you suppress, this energy that you repress, this energy that you abstain from actually being able to be expressed cannot be created nor destroyed. Energy can only be transferred from one form to another. NoFap does not teach you that. NoFap pulls you away from that. It makes you look at life in a very black or white manner, in a very dualistic manner. Fapping is bad, not fapping is good. Watching porn is bad, hooking up with girls is fine. You make an enemy out of pornography, you make an enemy out of masturbation, and you make an enemy out of ejaculation. You see, the whole premise of this practice on the real deal levels that we talk about over here on this channel is about how can you cultivate, sublimate, and transmute that same energy that is causing so much chaos in your life into a source of spiritual superfuel. You don't get that from NoFap. You don't get that from your No Nut November challenge. You don't get that from your streaks. You get that from the internal shift that happens on this path of self-mastery, which is semen retention. And I didn't even like using that term. I like to use celibacy because that actually gets a whole encompassing surrounding ideas of what this practice is about. But for the time being in this video, we're going to be talking about semen retention and celibacy and how it compares to NoFap. When you're on that journey of actually retaining your life force rather than just stopping it being expressed, you're learning how to transmute it, you're learning how to redirect it. That's when you see the true fruit of this practice. That's when you see the true benefits of this discipline. That's when you see the true power of what you can possibly tap into when you learn to master yourself. Are you picking up what I'm putting down, my guy? NoFap makes no sense because you're not doing any of that. A lot of people think that once they retain their seed, once they stop jacking off, once they stop watching porn, once they stop hooking up with girls, life will magically change for them. Girls are going to be running after them. Good luck just keeps coming after them. They just can't miss. Bro, grow the fuck up. This ain't what this practice is about. And if you think that, you got it all the way twisted, because all these other content creators are feeding you lies. But over here on the Philosopher Files, we only speak in facts. Because we are out here in the field, in the flesh. I'm on this journey with y'all. 5 years into this, and I'm seeing the holes. I'm seeing the lies, and I'm seeing the BS that a lot of people spew out when it comes to NoFap, when it comes to semen retention, all this stuff. And I'm here to break those, so you understand, as a true person who's about this life of self-mastery and about this whole journey of seeing their true potential on the mental, physical, and spiritual planes. I'm making these videos for you to streamline your path that will lead you to the realization of who you are. That's what this whole journey is about, of self-mastery. NoFap, guess what it misses? The spiritual aspects of it. When you see semen retention videos of people like, oh man, at this day, this is gonna happen. I've made those videos, but I always try to premise in the fact that, yo, I've been on this path. I'm not talking about what happens at day 3. I'm talking about what happens after a year. The shift that happens. All these types of things make you encapsulate your mind, imbibe your mind into the external thing of abstaining from ejaculation. That is not what this practice is about. That's why the word semen retention, that's why the word NoFap is not a true reflection of what this practice is about. That's why it makes no sense. You see, the whole world around you, the Maya, the Matrix, the illusion, the material world, society, is designed in specific ways to rob you of your attention, to rob you of your energy, to rob you of your autonomy. What the fuck does autonomy mean? Your own control of this vessel. Because this, flesh and bones, brain and body, are simply just tools for the soul to navigate across this realm of reality. You are not the brain. You are not the body. You are not the senses. You are not your thoughts. What you are is an eternal spirit that's hidden beneath these layers, that's underneath the surface, under the hood. And the world around you is designed to make you forget that, put you under a hypnotic spell, put you under what I like to call spiritual amnesia. Because when they have you in a state of spiritual amnesia, they can design, direct, and mold you into a mere cog in the machine, to the point where you become a pawn on the chessboard. You're not the person playing the game of life. You're a person being played by the game of life. That's a bar. Write it down, motherfucker. Let me say that again so it sinks into your psyche. You're no longer a person that's playing the game of life. You become a person, a pawn on the chessboard that's getting played by the game of life. And the game that's being played is all orchestrated by society, by the Matrix, by the Maya, by the illusion, to keep you stuck in your lower states of consciousness. NoFap is not going to help you out of that. Semen retention is not going to help you out of that. If you believe the external aspects of not jacking off is what's going to do that to you. See, it could be many different things. It could be food. It could be drugs. It could be alcohol. Do we call it alcohol retention or alcohol abstination? Do we call all these things? No. We don't call it no drink. We just call it living a pure life, a high vibrational life. You thinking that, hey man, if I don't beat my meat, not wanking my shit off the pixels on the screen, my life is going to be amazing. No, it's the fact that when you stop giving this whole arena and this whole plane of consciousness its energy, you stop feeding it, your energy can rise up to the next planes and to the next chakras and to the next arenas of life. What do I mean by that? You see, every time that you engage in these degenerate habits that are all surrounding your sexuality, you know, sex is not bad. Sex is not evil. And that's what's another bad thing about NoFap, semen retention, all that. People think that porn is evil. People think that sex is evil. It's not evil. It just is what it is. There's no good or bad. It's just poison to you because you don't have any control. And the more that you give into this urge, the more that you give into this compulsion, because society's dangling out all these different types of temptations in front of you, the more that you give up that control. You see what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? Every time you engage in hookups, every time you engage in watching porn, every time you do that, you're giving up your power. The thing, the modality does not matter. That's not the whole point. The point of this practice is to reclaim back your power. I don't care if it's through porn. I don't care if it's you're trying to reclaim it from being a sex addict, whatever it is. You're trying to reclaim back your autonomy and your power, your inner power. Because the more that you are encapsulated in this external world, the more that you chase these fleeting desires, the further you drift away from true internal bliss. This is what the path of celibacy is about. This is what brahmacharya is. This is the high level, the esoteric level aspects of semen retention, NoFap celibacy that very few people will ever come to realize. And very few of those people will ever become have the understanding of what this practice is. Not the understanding, the understanding. You see, while I'm talking to you about this, I've gone through this shift. And I'm telling you from somebody who's on the other side what this is about. It's not about how many days you haven't wanked off your meat. It's not about how many days you haven't went and banged abroad. That's not what it is. It's about how much power you've reclaimed back from the external world. Because the external world is the matrix, it's the Maya, it's the illusion, it's the veil that is covering up your connection to that soul, to that spirit, to that source that is beyond the brain and body, because that essence, that true divine nature of you has all the answers, has all the understandings, better yet has all the understandings of what's this path of life that you were brought here to do, that will lead you to a life of true liberation, that will lead you to a life of true fulfillment, where you're no longer stuck on the hamster wheel of desires. You're no longer chasing after sex. You're no longer chasing after status. You're no longer chasing after survival, because you have broken free from all of it. When you break free from all of it, you tap into true bliss. And when you tap into true bliss, that's when you go beyond the confines of this material world. That is the utmost high pinnacle point of this practice. It's not about, again, if you quit porn. Because guess what? Let's say you quit porn and you turn that addiction to chasing women. Let's say you quit porn and now you turn that addiction to drugs, to other external things. Whether it be survival, whether it be sex, whether it be status, does not matter what it is. And as I speak this, you hear the cops in the background. As I said that, the cops stopped. Wow. I was about to take a pause, but let's keep it going. The more that you break free, the more blissful you become. The more blissful you become, the less dependent you are to the external world to give you a sense of meaning, to give you a sense of direction, to give you any pleasure. You see, everything that you do is to stimulate the senses. Whether it be eating food, whether it be jacking off, whether it be chasing sex, whether it be getting this car, or getting these clothes, or trying to get this hoe. It's all to stimulate the senses. But what you really want in life as a man is to satisfy your soul. No FAP ain't gonna get you there. No FAP is not gonna get you there. Semen retention is not gonna get you there. When you view it in that manner as an external practice, I want you to shift your idea of what this is about. That's why I always call this whole journey self-mastery. You become the master of this vessel. Instead of you being pulled this direction by the external world, instead of you being pulled that direction by the external world, by your desires, by your urges, by all these temptations out there, you are the one sitting in the car, which is your body, holding onto the steering wheel, which is your brain, and directing where this vehicle goes. Because guess what? When you are mastering the self, you start to tap into your higher faculties, your higher states of consciousness. You start to ascend up the spine. What do I mean by ascending up the spine? Each area of your spine correlates to a plane of consciousness. Your spine, your brain is connected into one spinal column. That is the antenna. That is the foundation for your existence. Everything that you view into the world is all a projection of the spine. This is why they call it the axis mundi in the ancient traditions. As you ascend up the spine, you get further and further away from thinking in the gross, dense realms of reality. What is that? That is your carnal mind. Or in the Gnostic tradition, they call this the Hylic mind. The mind that is associated with the 3 lower chakras, which is all about survival, sex, and status. That's the most tangible things in the world. You can feel it. This is what most people are chasing after, especially in today's day and age, which we call Kali Yuga within the yogic traditions, where carnality is at an all-time high and consciousness is at an all-time low. AKA, look around you. Everyone's focused on survival, sex, and status. Everyone is chasing those metrics. Everyone is chasing those pleasures. But guess what? Even if they have them, they need more. Because it's a bottomless pit. You're only stimulating the senses. You're never satisfying your soul. It's like being hungry after a long workout and eating chips. You can eat 3, 4, 5 bags of chips and you still will be hungry. Why? Because you actually didn't get the real nourishment. You didn't get the real vitamins, the minerals, the macronutrients, the micronutrients that's going to help repair and heal your body, rejuvenate you. You're just stimulating the senses. So you are getting the signals to the stomach that, oh man, he's eating. But we need more, we need more, we need more. That's the same premise that's happening when you go out into the external world looking for desires, looking for true pleasure. You're not going to fucking find it, dude. You are not going to find it out in the external world. And no FAP, semen retention, when you look at it as that thing, you are doing the same thing. You think that if I do this external thing, not fapping, if I do this external thing, retain my semen, I'm gonna be happy. Even that does not work. You see what I'm saying? Are you picking up what the fuck I'm putting down? A lot of people won't tell you this shit because a lot of people haven't made the shift. That's a bar, write it down. That's a bar, write it down. A lot of people won't tell you this shit because a lot of people haven't made that shift. I'm telling you from someone on the other side of that shift, and it's still shifting. You thinking that if you do this external thing that you'll become happy, you'll become saved, is a fairy tale, is nonsense. This is why you must view celibacy, you must view semen retention as an internal journey of elevating your consciousness to the next layers, to the next planes. When you start meditating, what are you trying to do with meditation? It's not stopping the thoughts. It's about observing the thoughts. And most importantly, about reclaiming back your attention. Your attention is always being pulled out into the external world. And there's a great analogy in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most spiritual classic books that you ever read in your life. And it states that when you meditate, it's almost like you're a turtle. And a turtle has its arms out of its shell, has its legs out of its shell, it has its head out of its shell. When you meditate, you're like that turtle pulling its arms back into the shell, pulling its head back into its shell, pulling its legs back into its shell. But the arm, the legs, the head is like your attention, your energy, your focus, and all that stuff that is being pulled always in the external world, whether it be through survival, sex, or status. When you pull it into the shell, in this essence, it is you are pulling your consciousness back towards the self. And as you pull it back towards the self, your consciousness starts to rise up the spine. And when it starts to rise up the spine, you start to tap in to the ability to activate your spiritual faculties. The parts of you, the parts of your mind that were kept dormant, that were kept asleep in that spiritual coma because you've been stuck as a slave to your carnal senses. When you start to turn those on, you start to tune in. You start to turn on and tune in to the higher self, to the voice of God that reverberates within your heart. And within that voice, you start to hear who it is that you are beyond the brain and body, and what it is you were really brought here to do aside from just satisfying the senses. You start to uncover your destiny, your dharma, aka the path that will lead you to true fulfillment in life and that will lead your soul to liberation. That's what semen retention, that's what celibacy is supposed to do. When you look at it as an external practice of how many days, I haven't jerked off, I haven't done this, you are still giving power to that external thing. Do you see what I'm saying? That thing still has a hold over you. You want to be so locked in to this path of self-mastery that semen retention becomes something in the background. Something that just happens naturally. Because you focus your life on sadhana, spiritual practice, meditation, pranayama, fasting, creating something out of this energy, whether it be your business, your art, your music. When you engage yourself so much into that, guess what? You replace the need of physical stimulation with spiritual satisfaction. When you build your business, when you create your music, when you create some art, that satisfies your soul because it's something that's coming from within you. You're not going to get satisfaction from your soul by having check marks on how many days you haven't busted a nut. That's why NoFap makes no sense. That's why this whole trend makes no sense. If you do 30 days and you're good, you're going to be counting down 30 days. And guess what? Every time you count out those 30 days, the more power you still give to this addiction. Brahmacharya, the ultimate high level of this practice. It's not called, Brahmacharya doesn't mean semen retention. It means the pathway to God. Self-mastery is the pathway to God. I want you to view it like this. I want you to put your eggs into the baskets of these practices of self-mastery, of this sadhana, this pathway. And watch how SR, celibacy, NoFap, whatever you want to call it, becomes something natural. It's a byproduct because your mind is so engaged within the internal work now. You don't have to think about these external fads. Oh man, it's NoFap November. What day is my streak? No. You're engaged within. And you go lockstep with your higher self that guides you like a GPS system in that car. Because you're the soul, you're the driver. That steering wheel is the brain. The car is the body. You turn on the GPS system, which is turning on those higher faculties. You see what I'm saying? Hopefully this analogy is making sense. When you turn on and tune into your higher faculties, it's like turning on a GPS that will lead you to the end destination of your dharma, of your destiny, of who and what you're always meant to be. And now you're living a life in full alignment to your actual higher self. And you don't got to think about, oh, I got to stop doing this, stop doing that. No, there's no good or bad. You just are following the script that the divine has already inscribed within your motherfucking mind. That's what you're trying to focus on this journey. NoFap, don't do this, don't do that, so I'll get this and I'll get that, makes no sense. Wake up. Wake up. Because a lot of people won't tell you this. But that's what we break down here on this channel. The overall pathway of self-mastery. All this stuff that we talk about here on this channel. On the main channel, The Philosopher. If you don't know about the main channel, you're missing out on all our high-cut, nice edited, professional style videos. If you have not checked out that channel yet, man, check out the link posted in the description box down below, because you'll find the link to the main channel, The Philosopher. You see right now on the second channel, it's called The Philosopher Files, but the main channel, the OG, is The Philosopher. Tap in with that with the link posted in the description box down below. And of course, within the description box under the main channel's link, you'll find a link to my Instagram if you ever want to talk about, chop it up about these different types of topics, to further understand how to optimize the path of self-mastery for your specific journey. So again, all the stuff that we talk about here on this channel, the main channel, The Philosopher, make sure you go run it up. Link in the description box, Instagram in the description box. You better run it up. All the stuff that we talk about on the private Patreon community, man. Shout out to the fucking private Patreon community. Let's take a quick pause, matter of fact. For all you guys out there that have made it this far into the video, you guys, I'm guessing, are people who are truly devoted to this path of spiritual elevation, conscious evolution, becoming your highest self on the mental, physical, and spiritual planes. You're devoted, you're actual aspirant. A lot of people before this already clicked off. So I want to talk to you, mano y mano, right here. If you are one of those people, you consider yourself someone who's truly serious about this path to self-mastery, and you have not joined up into the private Patreon community yet, man, I'm gonna need you to find the closest mirror to you right now. I don't care if it's in a car window, I don't care if it's your selfie camera on your phone, I don't care if it's in your bathroom, whatever it is. Find the closest mirror to you, stand right in front of it, and take a good look at the guy that's standing right back at you within that mirror. That's staring right into your eyes, that's staring right within your soul. Really analyze what this person looks like. Take a good mental picture, click clack, your Kodak moment. Let it marinate in your mind, let it sink into your psyche. Because I want you to realize, I want you to understand, and I want you to understand that you're doing that guy, not me. The guy that's staring right into your motherfucking soul within the mirror, a huge disfavor by not joining up into the private Patreon community. Again, if you're someone who's truly serious about this path of self-mastery, because we are truly going in depth and in detail, uncovering this esoteric science of self-mastery within the private Patreon community. And if you're enjoying what we're talking about here on this channel, if you enjoyed this video, man, your mind is gonna be blown with what we got going on over there, man. Because we are breaking down exclusive videos about these ancient texts, about these esoteric traditions, about all the things involved within the esoteric science of self-mastery. This type of content you ain't gonna find on this channel, you ain't gonna find on the main channel. Matter of fact, you ain't gonna find this anywhere else on the internet. This is some real deal game, real deal sauce for your motherfucking brain to help you elevate on every single plane. You dig what I'm saying? Come on now, man. So not only do you get access to those exclusive videos within the private Patreon community, but also our full guides, our in-depth occult lectures, our digital libraries, and most importantly, if you tap in to the Philosopher's Circle, aka the highest membership tier group within the private Patreon community, you'll get an invitation to our private group chat where we host our bi-weekly mastermind live calls. Yes, sir, you heard me right. Bi-weekly mastermind live calls where you hop on a call with me, as well as a community of like-minded men who are also on this path of self-mastery, who also realize that NoFap makes no sense, who are elevating, who are evolving beyond the surface level of self-improvement and diving deep into the process, the path of self-mastery. If you want to be surrounded with highly evolved individuals like that, who will hold you accountable, who want to see you elevate, and who eventually want to see you spiritually liberate, I'm telling you, man, the Philosopher's Circle is the place for you, my guy. I can assure you that 100% guaranteed. But if you need any other type of information about the Philosopher's Circle and the private Patreon community as a whole, check out the links posted in the pinned comment of this video. Not the description box. The description box is where you'll find the link to my Instagram as well as the main channel, The Philosopher. I'm talking about the pinned comment. Just scroll into the comment section. You'll see it right there. Click that link and you'll be forwarded to our page where you'll find a link to the private Patreon community as well as links to the other services I provide, such as application forms for my personalized coaching program. If you're someone who's truly ready to take that leap of faith into the unknown and become your highest self. Tap into your highest potential on all planes of existence by dissolving these karmic bonds, by dissolving these degenerate habits, by dissolving and detoxing from all the BS that's entangling your mind, your attention, your focus in the external world as you revolve around this hamster wheel of desires. If you're ready to break free from that, become your highest self, dissolve your karmas, and most importantly, discover your dharma, aka your destiny, aka your divine potential you were brought here to accomplish, then shoot me an application form and we'll see if your entry meets the qualifications and the criteria of this coaching program, because this program is all about creating a personalized approach directly for you. You're going to be working with me directly one-on-one to help dissolve those karmas, dissolve the blockages, whether they be mental, physical, or spiritual, in order to discover your dharma, in order to discover your highest potential, what it is you're really brought here to do, so you can live a life aligned to that. You're no longer seeking external things, you find the internal bliss within. This is all about creating a systemized approach by using all the practices, the esoteric science of self-mastery, in order to break free from those chains and develop yourself to the ultimate state you were always meant to be. So if you're really serious about that, I only take really serious applicants. Shoot me an application form and we'll see what's up. But if you're also just trying to book a one-time consultation call with your boy, discuss anything that you're dealing with so we can systemize a path for you to get back on the right track, there's a link for that right there. Again, all that good stuff posted in the pinned comment of this video. Just scroll down, click the link, you'll be forwarded to our page, and you can just pick and choose whichever one of these services sing to your soul the most. But like I was saying, all the stuff that we talk about on this channel, the Philosopher Files, on the Philosopher, the main channel, especially within the private Patreon community, especially within my personalized coaching program, these are all about giving you back that power. Self-mastery is the whole journey of reclaiming back your soul's sovereignty. Let me say that again. Write it down, tattoo it to your arm, whatever the fuck you need to do to get this stuff embedded into your brain. Self-mastery, the whole journey of it, is about reclaiming your soul's sovereignty. You're not meant to be a mere cog in the machine. You're not meant to be a pawn in the chessboard. You weren't brought here to be molded into a puppet for the Matrix. But guess what? When you continually give up your energy and attention to the external world, that's what you become, a puppet of the Matrix. What allows you to wake up from that is the inward journey. And that's why NoFap makes no sense. For the people that are really on this path of tapping into the highest potential. Most people aren't. So NoFap is cool for them. They just want to quit porn. Cool. Amazing. You want a cookie? But I'm talking to the real deal spiritual savages out there. Them real motherfuckers. Who are sick and tired of being sick and tired within the cyclical cycle of samsara, the cycle of reincarnation, the cycle of being a slave to their senses. They're ready to see what life truly holds for them. And I'm guessing if you made it this far into the video, you're one of those people. Because if you didn't, man, fuck, you wasted hell of time. You wasted 34 minutes of your life. I know I'm entertaining. I know I look good. But god damn it, man, if you're not one of those individuals, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? So I'm guessing the people that are still watching this are those true aspirants. And hopefully this stuff is marinating in your mind. Because I'm not recreating the wheel. I'm not making up anything new. The real ancient doctrines of this practice of self-mastery, of this journey of self-mastery, the pathway of self-mastery that leads to what? The road of self-realization, where you come to understand, better yet, understand who you are beyond the brain and body and what it is you were really brought here to do. You come to the realization of that. You're not discovering anything new. I always bring up this concept of discovering your dharma, discovering your destiny. Is like the sun. The sun, right now, it's beaming on me. I'm sweating right now. It's hot. But some days, completely covered. Overcast. Some days, rain. Some days, well, not here, but snow sometimes in other parts of the world. Does that mean the sun is not there? No, the sun is still there when it's raining, when it's snowing, when it's cloudy. Your true self resides up in your higher faculties. You cannot tap into those higher faculties because you need the energy. You need the electricity. You need the power. You need the prana to push yourself up to that point. You see, your consciousness right now in today's day and age is being pulled downwards naturally. It's gravity pulling it down. That's Kali Yuga. Your consciousness is naturally rooted into those lower three planes, survival, sex, and status. And the more that you give up the energy through release, through becoming a slave to your senses, the less you have energy to propel you upwards, the less you have prana to propel your consciousness upwards to the point where it can turn on and tune you into your higher faculties, where that Dharma resides. That whole process of ascending the spine on this path of self-mastery is like clearing away those clouds, clearing away not the sun, but clearing away the rain, clearing away the snow that allows you to see the sun. The sun is always there. Your higher self is always there up in these higher faculties, but you don't have the electricity, you don't have the energy to turn it on. The energy, the most potent force of energy, the most potent force of prana is your sexual energy. It's the only reason you're here. It's the only reason I'm here. It's the only reason these plants and animals are here. It's cosmic energy. It's creative energy. That's why porn, that's why all these things are so propagated onto you. Again, the whole premise is not about quitting porn. NoFap will tell you. It's about reclaiming the power back from these things. So now you have the energy to be able to stimulate your higher senses. And guess what? You don't even got to think about semen retention, NoFap, this and that. You are living in alignment to your higher self, to your higher dharma, to your higher destiny. All that stuff just happens naturally at that point. Yes, it's a process to get to that point. And that's where we break down here again on this channel, on the main channel, especially within the private Patreon community, and specifically within my personalized coaching program. So again, if you're interested in any of these types of services to really take your life to the next level, pin comment down below, motherfucker, run it up. It's a process, but it's what this path is all about. Discovering that dharma, discovering that destiny, discovering who you are, realizing who you are, realizing that self. That's what you're trying to do. And I'm not here recreating. This is not something I just made up. So focus on the message, forget the messenger, because all I'm here to do, my destiny, my dharma right now, is to revive the ancient wisdom of the past, the blueprint left to us by the true awakened sages, the true awakened masters, the true yogis, sages, and all that stuff. They give us the blueprint on how to get back to these states of divine bliss with self-mastery acting as that pathway towards it. Semen retention and celibacy, when approached with this perspective, is a key tool and a key piece of the puzzle. It isn't the whole puzzle, like NoFap will tell you, but it's a key piece when you approach it in this perspective. Reclaim back your power, ascend up the spine, propel up to those higher planes, and unlock your true purpose. That's what we're trying to do. Not how many days you haven't busted a nut. Not how many days you haven't banged abroad. That's not what it's about. Elevate above that, evolve above that. That's surface level shit. Most people are still stuck in that, but if you made it this far, I'm guessing that's not you. I'm guessing that's not you. Again, Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 9, there's nothing new under the sun. I'm not here recreating the wheel. I'm just trying to make this type of information, this type of knowledge, this type of wisdom more accessible, more applicable, and more practical for the modern man to apply into his life so he can see the fruits of this path of self-mastery for himself. Not promoting, you just got to retain your semen and you become God. No. You got to be on this path of celibacy to reclaim back your power. And now when you got the power, you got to use the practices that we discuss again on this channel, on the main channel, especially on the private Patreon community. Real deal tutorials and practices, as well as my personalized coaching program. You need the actual practices to propel this energy upwards. And you need the outlets to express that energy when it's up in these higher faculties. Your business, your art, your music, whatever it is. Something that sings to your soul, something that you were brought here to do. The real reason. As you become a co-creator of your own reality instead of someone who's just a pawn on the chessboard. That's what we're trying to do. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? That's what this whole journey is about. That's what you're trying to actually tap into. That's the pinnacle. That's the point. That's the purpose. Not how many days you haven't touched your penis. See? See how stupid it sounds too? How silly it sounds? But a lot of people put so much merit onto that. But guess what? The more that you put merit onto these things in the external world, even though you're trying to abstain from them, the more power it has over you. So, oh man, you relapse, your day, your life is ruined. There's something called attachment, there's something called aversion. When you're attached to something, that means you're averse to something. When you're attached to how many days I'm on semen retention, you're averse to actually using your sexual energy. You detach from it. The whole premise of this practice is not be in this dualistic pattern of no fap, you should fap, porn, no porn, this, that. No, you should be focused on your main mission. You understand that, hey man, this energy is very fucking powerful. If I cultivate it and I propel it up to the higher planes, it can be that source of electricity, internal electricity, yogic electricity, that turns on my higher faculties, that turns on my higher sources of intuition, that taps me into gnosis. This is a form of knowledge that you ain't gonna find in the material world. You're not gonna find in books, you're not gonna find in podcasts, you're not gonna find it anywhere. I don't know your gnosis, nobody does but you. However, you've been blocked from ever accessing that gnosis because you've been depleting yourself of the key that opens up that door. The key to the ability to reclaim that key is the path of self-mastery. So I don't know your dharma, I don't know your destiny, but I do know how to dissolve those karmas. Semen retention celibacy is one of those tools to do that. That's what you're trying to do. Not no fap, not how many days. It's the internal shift that you're looking for. And if you're someone that's still watching this video and you're starting to realize this, it's starting to click for you, I want you to understand that this isn't enough to understand it. I need you to understand it. I need you to turn this knowledge up in the mind into gnosis that resides in the heart. The transmission is to first-hand experience. You need to experience this firsthand for yourself. You need to see that shift instead of focusing on streaks. You need to see why NoFap makes no sense for yourself to truly grasp these higher level concepts. Because the people that watch this channel in specific, I always say it. The Philosopher Files, the second channel, we're out here in the field, in the flesh. You guys are more spiritually and psychologically mature than the masses. You're in the 1% of the population. Most people cannot watch a video for this long because they're suffering from brain rot. You add on top of that these higher level topics, these higher level concepts that would fly over most people's heads, that's not gonna make any sense to them. So if you have this ability to listen to what I'm saying, again, focus on the message, forget about the messenger. I'm not here making up anything new. The way I'm delivering it might click for you though. Focus on the message. If you're able to grasp this message, there is a reason. You maybe have dissolved some of the karmas that you were carrying in the past lives, in this life, whatever it is, who knows. But you cannot waste this lifetime on spiritual degradation, on spiritual degeneration. You have the tools, you have the understanding. Now turn that understanding into understanding by first-hand experience. Use the tool of semen retention celibacy and realize how NoFap makes no sense by not putting so much premise, not so much power to this whole idea of, oh man, I'm stopping porn, I'm this and that. You're trying to reclaim back your power. That's it. Period. And once you have that power, now you can play. When you don't have the power, you're being played by the game of life. When you take back that power, now you can play the game of life. Now you can ascend up to the higher levels. Now you can become a sovereign entity that is being led by your higher self to that dharma, to that destiny, to what you were always brought here to do. That's what I need you to realize. So if you are here listening to all this stuff, you know, when it comes to self-improvement, we talk about people who are watching all these videos, reading a bunch of books, but never applying it. We call them mental masturbators. Well, if that's the case for you, I'm calling you a spiritual masturbator. You need to feel this shift firsthand for yourself. And if you're struggling with the path and you have not tapped into the Art of Retention ebook written by yours truly, what are you doing with your life, man? Come on, motherfucker. Come on. You're missing out. You're missing out on everything. Right now, Go on the main channel. Matter of fact, just go on the YouTube search bar and tap in how to succeed on semen retention. You'll find a video, a full video guide discussing everything you need to actually see how this practice can actually propel your consciousness up the spine and stimulate these higher planes where your purpose resides. You have all the tools, you have all the practices, you have all the techniques. But also within that video, you'll get a free link to the free ebook, the Art of Retention ebook, written by yours truly, that goes even more in depth and more in detail than the book. Talking about everything you need to actually use this practice on how it's intended to be used as a tool to transcend. Reflecting the ancient wisdom of the past. Reflecting what's brought me so far along this journey so I can tell this stuff to you. I want you to feel it so you can tell it to somebody else if needed. And again, if you're dyslexic, you're retarded, you got ADHD, you can't motherfucking read, your boy's got you covered with a full audio series of the Art of Retention ebook on the main channel. Just go on the main channel, The Philosopher, just go in the description box again. Description box got my Instagram and the link to the main channel. Click on that, go on the playlist section, you'll find the audio series right there for you. So you can pop it in while you're working, while you're walking, while you're doing whatever, so you get up on some motherfucking game and you ain't out here looking like a motherfucking lame. You dig what I'm saying? You're actually using SR to help propel you. You're actually using SR to stimulate your higher faculties. Instead of using SR, using NoFap as this random trend that will help you become your alpha self. That's silly. It's silly. It's BS. That's not what this practice is about. And if you want to see the true benefits, this is the way to go about it. Your boy broke it down. But again, if you need any further guidance from that, further help from that, tap in with the private Patreon community. We got a bunch of exclusive videos that goes a million times more in depth than this. It's going to blow your mind if you think this is deep. As well as you can tap into our private group chat where we can talk about these things, where you can be surrounded with people on that same journey, supporting you. Hop into our next Mastermind live call. If you're someone who's on the real verge of taking this step to the next level, shoot me an application form for the coaching program. This is what it's all about, man. I'm giving you guys these resources, so there's no excuse to produce. Because you made it this far into the video, I know you're someone who's ready to make that shift. I know you're someone who's devoted to this path. So if you are struggling, this is what we got for you. This is the services, the free ebook, the audio series. We got the private Patreon community. We got the personalized coaching program. Or if you just want to book a consultation call, all of those things are right there for you. But I need you to understand. Better yet, I need you to understand through your own experience why NoFap makes no sense, because now you start to realize that it's about reclaiming back the power. And the more power you put onto NoFap, the more power you put onto semen retention, the more it actually takes away from you, then it should be giving you back. You see what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? Hopefully, let that marinate in your mind and sink into your psyche. But it's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping you all that game so you guys can make these gains. I'm out of here. Peace.